So we are going to talk about like a little bit love, yeah, at first sight, and marrying, but marrying like brand and performance campaigns, measurement. Maybe it's not that sexy topic, but still it's a kind of a practical thing. And we're going to present you a case study that we did with Natu.Care. That's the company that Bart is working for. And yeah, so I'm Arek. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Sublime Analytics platform, and I'm here with.
Oh, that's a cue for me to jump in. Okay, we haven't rehearsed that. I'm sorry. So my name is Bart. I'm head of acquisition at Natu.Care, and Natu.Care is part of a larger company that we set up a few years ago, More Growth, in which we launched 5 different projects, but now we're doubling down on Natu.Care specifically.
Yeah, so maybe Bart, you will like tell us a little bit about Natu.Care, like the problems that you faced, and yeah, why we even like started to talk about like measurement stuff.
So, like you said that shyly that it's not a sexy topic. I think it's the sexiest of all the topics, attribution and deciding on what to invest money in and what kind of impact and return on investment you expect. And this is a problem that is very important for us to solve because we are a startup. We have limited funding. We kicked off our project Natu.Care somewhere around mid 2022. That is the official launch. We had been working on this project for, I guess, by that point in time, 6 months already. The whole idea to launch Natu.Care came from Natalia Grajsar, who is our founder, and given her history with different health challenges and problems, one day she decided that having ideally, solved them or improved her quality of life, she would like to kind of pursue this avenue and help others chase their health, wellness, and beauty goals. So that's kind of what spearheaded the inception of Natu.Care. And being More Growth, we really were interested in entering this niche. So I think this is as much as you need to know about Natu.Care, supplements, health and wellness, and beauty. Now, when it comes to specifics, as a young company, we have a fairly limited product offering at this point in time. We're expanding our products, but for now, our main interests are collagen supplements, a supplement for hair, nails, and skin, as well as a sleep aid and vitamin D. Recently, we have launched omega-3 fish oils, as well as a kind of light duty collagen supplement, if you will, where the amount of collagen is a little bit smaller. Call it an entry-level collagen supplement, if you will. And then we've got a bit of a list of different products we'll be pursuing this year. What is really important for us is that if we decide on a product, we decide on it because there is ample scientific evidence suggesting that it is useful, it will work, and we don't really want to chase product ideas simply because we know there would be an audience for it. So none of the woo-woo stuff on our end. Now, if you kind of look at Natu.Care, besides it being a health, beauty, and wellness kind of brand, supplement brand, we also run a website. And what we would love to do is to provide valuable information to people who's kind of run into different problems concerning their health or beauty or wellness needs. And we kind of want to solve that particular problem they might have. In the early days, we experimented with a marketplace model where besides our own brand, we would promote other companies. But now we've decided not to pursue this avenue. And focus on building a brand that would have a loyal audience of fans and people who really are committed to supplementing with our creations. And ideally, if possible, we'd like to turn them into subscribers. Now, I know that subscriptions get a bad rep. I personally am also concerned that anything that we now purchase might turn out to be another subscription-based product later on. I dread the thought that one day I'll be approaching my fridge, opening the door and using up tokens. So this is not just a purely revenue-oriented play on our end. What we want to do is help people actually, really address their needs. And one of the biggest, most important aspects of a successful supplementation program is really sticking to it. And with a subscription, we solve, I think, a very important problem that people will run into, which is forgetting to order their next batch, right? So here you get continuity, you get a discount, and you don't have to worry about forgetting to buy your next batch of products. Now, I mentioned that we quite like content marketing to kind of address people's needs from a content perspective, inform them, then let them know that we have a specific product that may be helpful, and then convert them to paying customers. So inspired by Tribe 47, the ads agency we've been working with, we kind of decided to run our paid ads and paid campaigns broken into two types of campaigns, cold and warm. This isn't earth-shattering and totally new, but it is important because for cold campaigns, we are thinking of prospecting campaigns in which we are targeting people who have no prior interaction with our brand or website. And for warm campaigns, we're really focusing on remarketing and people who have interacted with our brand or website. Now, we had a discussion with Arek to kind of decide if we can kind of try to align these two types of campaigns to perhaps the funnel levels, be it top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or bottom of the funnel, but it doesn't entirely line up this way, because you might be in a position where someone had purchased a collagen supplement with us, from us, but not really omega-3 fish oils. So technically they would be more customers, right? But like their level of understanding of what omega-3 can do for them might be limited. So there is a lot of nuance, but it's beside the point, I think, right now to kind of look into that in more specifics. If we move on, the biggest kind of obstacle that we ran into is the fact that as a startup, we have limited funds. We need to be accountable for every dollar of ad spend that we have. And this really made us want to focus on direct, scalable sources of attributable revenue. That's a mouthful, but basically we just want to be able to say, okay, if we spend $10 here, we'll get back X dollars and keep spending those dollars. If we can't get back what we want to kill that particular campaign, ad, or perhaps even channel, right? And this becomes really, really difficult because you kind of get conflicting information depending on the source that you look at. So if our goal, moving on to our next slide, is to maximize ROI, you kind of really want to focus on one little trick from the Glenn Ross playbook, which is to always be closing. But you really need to know who the sales rep is that you want to put your coins on and chips on. So going to the next slide, if you kind of really want to maximize your return on investment, you kind of run into this forever existing problem of advertising, which is you waste half the budget, but the problem is you don't know which half. And this is where we reached out to the guys from marketing engineers in Sublime to kind of look into what we can do to better understand where we should be investing more money in. And the biggest question was, is it Google Ads, so a channel that we're a little bit more familiar with, a channel that we knew that we could maximize, it aligned with our content strategy perfectly, or is it Meta, because that's where our target audience perhaps spends more time and learns about new supplements, right? That's a really big question for us. Then warm campaigns and cold campaigns. If you only focus on warm campaigns, are you really growing your audience? And how about cold campaigns? Do they even matter? Should we be focusing on the ABC that we stole from movies from, I think, the 80s? Or should we actually open ourselves up to getting more traffic that later on we try to retarget and push into specific funnels, be it email, push notifications, SMS, or anything else?
Yeah. So the problems that we try help to solve, it's not specific to Natu.Care. It's things that clients are facing, and well, on general level, we can talk about two marketing spend optimization challenges. The first one is the one that Bart already like described. It's who is telling the truth? Is Meta telling the truth, or Google Ads is telling the truth? And maybe they are both like lying, let's say. So each marketing panel is like showing that this channel that they are measuring is profitable, and it's profitable from their perspective because apart from big advantage like cross-device that each channel has, or each measurement in each like panel has, because you have to like log into Meta and Facebook to get your to use Messenger or to go to social network. So Meta is like kind of can connect you on different devices, and the same with Google, because we log in with our Google accounts in on many devices and in many apps. So the cross device is an advantage, but because of the conversion duplication, sometimes the number of conversion that you see in Meta and number of conversions you see in Google Ads like adds up to more than 100% of what you see in your e-commerce system, and that can't be true, and that's why it's the distrust. And it's not like that like they're doing that on purpose. It's because like those platforms, those marketing platforms, and they don't see each other, so they're like double counting conversions. And we did some internal research in Sublime, and we looked at the data, and we noticed that the overlap between Meta and Google Ads non-brand can be something from 5 to even 40% of the conversion paths. So it's quite a lot, and that's the reason why the Meta and Google Ads data are looks like a little bit suspicious. The other like marketing spend optimization challenge is the discrepancy between Google Ads, Google Analytics 4 and Meta. And when we are aware of the fact that Meta only measures Meta, we want to find a tool that can show us a broader perspective, include like other channels. So our clients usually like turns to Google Analytics 4, and in Google Analytics 4, we can see like less conversions done in Meta, and far less conversions, and a lot of conversions is attributed to non-paid channels. And that's also like a surprising thing, because the results of Meta in Google Analytics 4, they don't seem very valuable as well, but from the other perspective. And it's because the Google Analytics 4 and Meta they have different measuring techniques. And when we take a closer look at what is measured and what it's not, we can easily see that in Google Analytics 4, we have like conversion duplication and all the other channels being taken into account. But Google Analytics 4 is doing its attribution only using clicks. And if we are using Meta, we know that its power comes not only from bottom of the funnel, but from being like in the middle of the funnel or even in the upper of the funnel. So impressions are very important for proper Meta performance assessment. The other thing is that Google Analytics 4 takes into is mainly like cookie based with limited cross-device, and in Meta we have user-based approach that is far more reliable and allows for cross-device measurement. And also one or two facts in Google Analytics 4, when Google Analytics is implemented on client side, we see always some kind of tracking issues that results in like from 10 to 15% of conversions not being registered in Google Analytics. So we have less conversions in Google Analytics 4 than we have in e-commerce transaction platform. So that's the case. So when we want to like create a wish list of things that the perfect solutions should have, we end up with something like, we want a conversion deduplication. That's thing from Google Analytics 4. We want 100% of revenue being distributed between channels, because we want to see 100% of the performance, not only a fraction. We want this solution for performance assessment be user-based, like in Meta. We want cross-device like in Meta, and we want also to have impressions being taken into account. And there is one solution that meets all those criteria, and it's kind of an old one and very good. It's called marketing mix modeling, and it allows it allows to take into account not only digital channels, but also like offline channels, or take into account holidays, seasonality, stuff like that. But it's a no-go for a startup because it's too expensive, and a big drawback, not only for startup but also for many companies, is long time to insights, because it requires like at least like a couple of weeks for model fine tuning. So it can be used like on daily basis to optimize the performance of the campaigns that you are running. So what we did, together with Natu.Care, we created a solution, a proof of concept of the solution that we called first-party attribution. It's called the first-party attribution because it doesn't require any additional data than the one that company already has. So we are using two first-party attribution. We don't need to like buy another tool or implement like additional tracking to track all the touch points. We are using what we already have. So we are using web click information from Google Analytics 4. We are using e-commerce data from Shopify in case of Natu.Care. And we are also downloading data from ad platforms like Meta, Google, and for example, TikTok. And we are like recreating conversion paths in a data warehouse. And then we are visualizing and analyzing the attribution results. And the main assumptions behind first-party attribution is that we are using conversion paths with clicks as touch points from GA4 to deduplicate the channels, but we are enriching those data with e-commerce data. So, for example, when we have a conversion path with cart ID, but we don't see the transaction, but we know from transaction system, so for example from Shopify, that the transaction happened, we just put the transaction at the end on the conversion path, and we are like enriching the data. We have like 100% revenue being analyzed. So that's the one thing. And we, like, as the first step, we run the modeling, like last click, non-direct, non-brand like model, like in GA4, as a first step, and we end up with some revenue being attributed to non-paid channels, non-paid channels and to brand channels. We send conversions from non-paid channels and from brand channels to conversion API, to Meta conversion API, to see if Meta is like recognizing those users. And if it does, we are attributing those part of the conversions that from direct, organic, and brand campaigns to Meta. And then at the end, we are also adding some impression coefficient, to take into account all the conversion that should be like attributed not to clicks but to impressions. So, for example, when we have in Meta panel the model that says like 1 day click model that says like 100 conversions were attributed to certain Meta campaign, and the other model, 1 click 7 days model that says like 120 campaigns were attributed to the certain campaign. We can say that this coefficient is 20%, and we are adding this 20% to our modeling at the end to compensate for the attributed like conversions because of the impressions that we had. So that's the methodology in general. So we ran the 3 months test and wanted to compare our modeling results with what we see in Meta panel and Google Ads panel, and also in GA4 attribution. And for Meta, we divided all the campaigns into two groups. We had cold campaigns, so the campaigns where user didn't have the interaction with the client, with the brand before, and warm campaigns were when that was, so aka like retargeting campaigns we aimed at targeted at users that had the interaction in the past with the brand. As you can see, the results differ. Like the ad panels, like so the Meta panel is reporting like the highest results, with GA4 like showing the results that are like substantially lower for Meta, but our attribution is somewhere in between. Like it's closer to ad panels than to GA4. Because we are taking into account not only the data deduplication, the conversion deduplication, but also we are taking advantage of user-based tracking from Meta and cross-device from Meta. So our results are higher than in GA4. But what is more important is that with first-party attribution, you can see that the cold campaigns are more effective than warm campaigns, and that's in the contrary to what Meta is reporting. So the cold campaigns, the one in the middle of the funnel, that are underinvested, and the results for warm campaigns that we see in first-party attribution versus what we see in Meta panels are much lower, and that's probably because that's because of the data duplication that Meta didn't see. So it was like Meta was double counting the conversions. By the way, like all the values ROAS that you are seeing on those slides are normalized, so they are like not this is not like at face value that Natu.Care is seeing. And we also like did the same exercise for Google Ads, but in this case we divided the campaigns into Google non-brand and Google branded campaigns. And as you can see, the Google Ads panel is like for Google brand campaigns is like showing like the really magnificent result. And that is like being lowered for GA4 attribution, and with our attribution is being like cut into half, because the Meta like recognize some of the transactions as their own transaction, and they are no longer like attributed to Google branded campaigns. And we can see here also that the non-brand campaigns are there is the ROAS of non-brand campaigns is like 12% like higher in first-party attribution than it was in ad panels. So it means that they were like undervalued, underinvested in Google Ads panel. Okay, so like summing it up. So we made some progress with first-party attribution, and now it's like the basic model that we are using for all of our clients. First of all, we managed to enhance the accuracy of upper level channels such as Meta, and that was previously broken with cookie issues, with cross-device issues that like Google Analytics is facing. We were able to incorporate like impression into like click-based attribution, and that worked quite well for the upper funnel and middle funnel campaigns. And there are some actionable insights from this modeling that we gave to Natu.Care. So the cold campaigns were underinvested when looking only from the perspective of Meta, and the certain brand campaigns were also underinvested when looking at the Google Ads panel. So this attribution modeling, the first-party attribution modeling, gives like an answer which campaign or which channel you should put your money in, and inside the channel, like which campaign are the like most that bring like the most value, and where should you put your money. So, but there are like still some remaining challenges. We didn't like figure out everything. So when there are like two upper funnel channels like Meta and TikTok, there is still a problem with the duplicating between multiple channels, because we will be then sending like data not only to Meta conversion API but also to TikTok conversion API, and that is still work in progress. How to deal with it, and there we also want to track users longer than 28 days. For now, the attribution works quite well for the conversion that happens like up to 28 days from the interaction, and that's a limitation if you want to like run some long-term impact branding campaigns. But we have a couple of ideas how to make the attribution even better. The first one is to incorporate like post-purchase user service into attribution modeling. It's a quite new approach. So what it is, it's like you put the service on your website that are asking like clients about their how they like found about your brand, what were like their last point of interaction with the brand, and then you are trying to incorporate this answer into your attribution modeling to calibrate it. And the same with fast marketing mix models. There are some quite like open source like marketing mix models projects that can be used to calibrate like more day-to-day attribution models that are used for day-to-day like data the day-to-day performance campaigns optimization.